All right, and we are live. Welcome back with Murphy Mac to another episode of the Fitness Beginner Podcast, where we help you get started on your fitness journey. What is going on, everybody? Hope y'all are having a great week so far. Hope you're working on your fitness goals and trying to stay warm out there because it's absolutely freezing here. I know it's freezing. If it's freezing in Alabama, then it's definitely freezing everywhere else. So y'all stay warm out there. So let's go ahead and hop right into the podcast episode today. We got another solo podcast going again today. And what today's podcast topic is going to be about is something that my pastor talked about in church today. And I just thought when he said it, and I immediately thought, this is a great fitness analogy I could use. So that's what we're going to talk about. But before we do that, I do want to give y'all an update on my little steps challenge if you've been following me along. And if you hadn't, follow me on social media so you can follow along on my stories of my steps challenge that I'm doing. So to kick the new year off for 2026, my goal is to do 1 million steps in the month of January. Or I'm doing 30 days. There's technically 31 days in January, but I'm going to do it in 30. So yeah, that breaks down to be 33,333 steps every day for 30 days straight. So that's what I'm doing. So far, we've done that. We've done it every day. I'm actually a little ahead. I got more than that. So I got a little buffer room if I need it, but I'm not going to bank on it. So yeah, we got it done. Still doing it. I think today is January 18th at the time of this recording. So we're a little over halfway in. But yeah, we're still going strong. Hopefully y'all are still working towards y'all's New Year's resolutions as well, y'all's goals, challenges, whatever that you set to yourself. So let's go ahead and hop right into the podcast today. So I heard this quote, and he was referring, to God when he was talking about this. But, my fitness mind immediately was like, oh, yeah, this definitely relates to fitness as well. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So the quote was, delay forms who you are becoming, not just what you will receive. So I'll say it again. Delay forms who you are becoming, not just what you will receive. So today we're going to break this down and we're going to relate it to fitness, to someone's fitness journey directly and how you can use it to kind of help you out. So what does delay, when I say delay, I'm talking about DELAY, delay. What does this look like in fitness? Sorry, I just took a cold plunge, so I'm freezing right now. So if you hear me shivering, that's why I'm shivering. Sorry, I'm trying to warm up. But yeah, in fitness, delay shows up as, not seeing the scale move right away or not building the muscle as fast as you want to, not running faster, not lifting heavier, not looking how you expect it to, right away, immediately, in that delay is where most people quit, especially in their fitness journey. When they're not getting those results that they think they should be getting, that's when most people quit. But delay is not failure. You shouldn't quit here because this is not where you fail. It's not failure. Delay isn't the punishment. It's a process. It's putting in the work to get that ultimate, to receive the ultimate, achievement that you're trying to achieve. So think of delay as the work. It's the work that you got to do. I'm trying to think what's the best way to put it. In fitness, it's gonna take longer than most people realize. You gotta put in the work, and it just takes time. There's gonna be a delay. Period. When it comes to fitness results, most people when they talk about fitness results, they use the time frame of weeks. Well, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. I'm take weeks out of your mindset. There's no weeks in fitness. It's months and it's years. Not even you could probably just skip months as well. Just go straight to years. When you think of a fitness goal, don't think you're going to achieve a goal in weeks. It's not going to happen. Period. Unless it's a very small goal. Any significant goal that you do in fitness is going to take months and probably years if you have, very big goals. If you want to lose 100 pounds, you need to be looking in time frames of a year to 2 to 3 years, not, 3 months, or weeks. It's not going to happen. So, and that's just the result of how fitness works. Like, fitness works by it's a very slow, drawn out process. Like, it's not fast. There's a delay when it comes to fitness with anything, with losing weight, with building muscle, with running faster. There's going to be delay. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not just going to lose all the weight in a month. You're not going to you're not going to be able to train for a marathon in a month. There's a long delay to see these results. And that's why people do like fitness preps. They get ready like for a race. Like, say if you're doing a race, they'll do like a 6-month prep, or a prep for a year for it, because they know they need all that time. They need that preparation. They need that delay to get them to be able to achieve said goal. So think of delay as the process. It's the process to eventually achieve what it is that you're trying to achieve. It's not a punishment. Delay is not wasted time. That delay is doing something deeper than you realize. When you're in that delay in your fitness journey, like while you're, putting in the work each and every day, but you're not necessarily seeing the results just yet, like you're not losing the weight just yet. Well, that time period, that's what's shaping your discipline. That's what's shaping your consistency. That's what's shaping your patience, your identity. Like, that's where you're building these things. So like these things you're building during this delay, during like that time of wanting to quit, like that's when you're gonna, really build these, characteristics. So that's like, you don't see it now, and it kind of sucks while you're doing it. But once you achieve, your goal, once you lose all the weight or whatever it is you're trying to achieve, you'll realize that you learned a lot more during that period than you thought. Like, you learned a lot more about yourself. You built more discipline. You became consistent. You became more patient. So you don't just get the weight loss. Like, yeah, the weight loss is great, but there's a lot more other things that come with it as a side effect that you don't really realize that you're getting, like the discipline, like the patience, the consistency. So that's just a plus. That's just a cherry on top that you get, during that delay. So fitness is not just about getting lean, getting strong, getting fast. It's about who you become during that time period. Like, trying to get lean, trying to get strong, trying to get fast. You learn a lot of things about yourself, like the discipline and consistency, things like that. And you develop these characteristics, which is a good thing. So there's a lot more to it than just the result that you get. The result that you receive, there's a lot more that comes with it than just that one thing. That's why I like doing, all these crazy races and stuff that I do, because I learn more about myself. I prove myself wrong. I build that discipline. There's a lot more than just being able to say I'm an Ironman. Like, there's a lot more that goes to it than, completing the race. There's a lot of stuff you learn along the way, along the journey. So we have the person you become versus the result that you get. So pretty much anybody can get a result temporarily. People can do things like that temporarily and get a result. But very few people can become the kind of person who can, maintain that result or rebuild that result after a setback, like maybe an injury or a major life event or something. They can rebuild that. And then they can also stay consistent when motivation disappears. So that's the person you want to become. You don't want to do it temporarily. You want to be able to, become that type of person, not just get a temporary result. So during your delay, that's when you're going to become that person. Delay kind of builds that person. That delay is going to teach you how to show up when you don't feel like showing up. It's going to teach you how to train even when your progress is slow, or if it's not happening at all, if it's invisible. That delay is going to teach you how to eat well even when nobody's watching, doing the right thing when nobody's watching. It's going to teach you a lot about yourself during that delay. This is think of delay as like when you're in the trenches, grinding it out. You're putting in the work, but you're not necessarily seeing the results just yet. So why quick results often fail? Well, When results come too fast, there's not a foundation set. There's not a foundation built. When you build a house, you build the foundation first, and then you build on top of it. Well, when you get those quick results, like when you're kind of taking shortcuts, you don't really build that foundation. You're not building the habits that you need to build in order to sustain that and maintain it. You're not, shifting your identity around fitness and who you are. So that's why people will lose weight and then they'll gain it all back. You've seen this. You probably know somebody that's done this. A lot of people do it. They'll lose the weight temporarily. They'll have that temporary result, and then they go back to what they were doing before and they gain it all back. It happens a lot. That's why people, they may get stronger. Like their goal is to get strong, and then once they kind of got strong, they just quit training. They quit going, or they ran a race, trained really hard for it, and then never trained again. So we don't want that to happen. Those results, they got the result they were looking for. They got it. It came, but it was temporarily. The person didn't change. You got to change who you are along with the result. Anybody can do something for a short period of time and achieve a result. But if you don't change during that delay, then you're just going to go right back to where you are, who you were before. So the delay is going to, kind of build that ownership. When you've waited for something, you tend to respect that thing a lot more. You build respect during the process. You value the work that you put in a lot more. Like you value the result that came from it because you know what you had to do in order to achieve said result. And not only do you value it more, you respect it more, you're going to protect it more. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to, like the person that lost weight and gained it all back. Well, when you kind of develop that when you want to protect the result, like, so when you lost the weight, you don't want to gain it back. So like you're not going to do this. You want to protect that result because you don't want to let all your hard work go to waste, essentially. So you want to protect it. So the delay, it forces you to earn the result, to earn it. And it makes you respect the process more. It makes you value the work more. It makes you protect that result that you achieved. So when you earn it, you don't want to give it back easily. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how hard it was. It wasn't easy. So it just means more. You know what I'm saying? So we got to reframe your current frustration. So if you're frustrated right now, that doesn't mean you're behind. It just means that you're being built. You know what I'm saying? You're grinding it out in the trenches. It goes back to my podcast episode last week where we talked about being in the fire. It kind of goes back to that. So you got to ask yourself, like, who am I becoming during this delay? Don't get mad because you're not getting the result right away. Just ask yourself, who am I becoming during this delay? Because on the other side of that delay or that fire, you're going to come out stronger and better, and you're going to achieve that result on the other side. And the reason we want to, kind of reframe your frustrations is because it's going to determine like how long your results last. It's going to determine how far you'll go in the future. If you keep doing it, if you stick with it, or you don't want to be the person that gains the weight back after you lost it because you worked hard. Like it was hard, and you should be proud of that and be able to maintain it and sustain it. Because if not, then you kind of just wasted your time. Like it was pointless. So we don't want to do that. So just like in faith, growth and faith is going to happen while you're waiting. God has a timeline for your life. So you got to grow, he's going to build you up to get you ready for whatever door he's going to open for you. Fitness kind of works the same way. The delay is not denying you the result. It's just getting you ready for it. It's preparing you for it. So that way you can handle the result. So we don't gain the weight back, so we don't quit going to the gym, or so we don't quit running or whatever it is. So yeah, I like that quote. A lot of times whenever I'm somewhere and I hear something, I immediately I like, I immediately write it down so I don't forget it. And then that way I can talk about it more and break it down more in depth for podcast episodes like this. Because a lot of things in life it relates to fitness very well. Like, especially like biblical things that my pastor talks about a lot. A lot of it relates to fitness a lot, like very well. So I think it's pretty cool when you can kind of relate the two to each other and use them for each other for their advantage. So yeah, that's where I got the podcast idea from today. So a final takeaway: don't rush the process. Don't resent the delay, because like we said, like everybody always says, it's gonna be hard. It's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be tough. Let the delay form you. Let it build you. Let it do what it's gonna do, because the body that you want is temporary. Like the goal that you want, like if you want to lose weight, being 50 pounds lighter, like that's temporary. But the discipline, the confidence, the resilience you build along the way, along the journey, like in your delay, that is going to stay with you for life. So it's not as much about the result. It's more about who you become while you're achieving that result, like while you're doing the things that you got to do in order to achieve that result. So yeah, if this episode helped you, please share it with a friend, somebody that may be frustrated not seeing results in their fitness journey. I'd appreciate it. Thank y'all so much for tuning in for the podcast. Subscribe, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to that. We on all podcasts and platforms. Leave a like, leave a review. I appreciate it. And remember, delay forms who you are becoming, not just what you will receive. So it's about who you're going to become during that process, not just the result that you're going to get from it. So yeah, that's all I got for y'all today. Y'all have a great day. Y'all be sure to tune in next week for another episode of the Fitness Beginner Podcast. Peace, love, protein. We out.